Hey, creative ones, it's Melissa D'Antonio live here in my studio. I'm a little bit late today, so apologize for that. We're still getting over a cold here in our house. So please excuse my voice as well. Hopefully I come across clearly. If you're here, say hello. All right, so today is day 6 of harvesting the gifts of your ancestry and really looking at these karmic patterns and how they get passed down. Today we're going to be talking about the gifts of addiction. Yeah, I'll wait a few minutes to see who all will be joining us. Hey, Nick. Hi. Yeah, so the gifts of addiction. Let's talk about this. And if you have any comments, if you want to share this video, it's super important. I really want to get this information, this shift in perspective out to people that can really benefit. So if you or someone in your family is struggling with addiction, it's an epidemic, of course, in our culture. And we're going to talk a little bit about the root of it. What is the metaphysical root? What's really going on? What is the antidote to addiction in our society? And what you can do to break the cycle in your own family. And also, I may add this as a little extra bonus, like how to support people that you love in addiction, because it really is such a personal journey. And I know so many families, gosh, I've done, so much work around this in my own personal life, and also in so many of my clients and friends and family that have struggled with this as well. Dear people dear to me that have really suffered from this, or loved ones suffered from a loved one in their addiction. And it really is the source of so much pain and suffering in our world. So if you can resonate, let's just send a little love right now to everyone who is struggling with this karmic pattern, this dis-ease right now in their life. So let's talk about why this gets passed down. Well, obviously, let me back up. I want to, again, if this is the first time you're watching this video, or if you're watching a video from me, I want to define how I use the term karma, because I think it can be misused or used, let's just say, in different ways. And the intention that I'm using the word karma and karmic patterns is its scientific definition, really like Newton's law of cause and effect. So it's the way that we create. It's a cycle of creation and a pattern of creation, because if everything is energy, then everything has a karmic imprint and a karmic cycle in this material universe, right? So, and those imprints get passed down until they are evolved. And if you're watching this video, you're being invited, right, to, hey Barrett, you are being invited to evolve this pattern or evolve your consciousness and perspective of it as well. Yeah. So let's talk about why this runs in families. Well, it runs in families because usually there's an original trauma, and ultimately what the root of addiction is, it's a lack of intimacy, it's a lack of connection. At the very basic root, right? So that's what people that are struggling with addiction, they're struggling for some connection to their source, their creative source, their, higher power, whatever you want to call it, to the universe, to nature, to this, to life force, and ultimately their own personal power. Hi, Jemima. And, and that is a learned behavior, and it also creates a paradigm. So if you're born into addiction, right, whether someone in your family is addicted, you receive the effects of that, right? And that lack of, it also comes from a sort of a scarcity mindset, and that lack of love ultimately is what it's about, right? That's what's going on at the root. If you look at Louise Hay's definition of the metaphysical root of addiction or alcoholism, she talks about being like intense guilt and shame of the self, inadequacy, and self-rejection. So it's really ultimately a self-worth thing, and it comes from a way that we are learning to, it's a symptom of trying to metabolize our own worthiness, our own connection to our source. And if we don't know how, we don't have the inner resources because of trauma or misdevelopment, or if we don't have something better to provide us with that level of connection, often it can be resulted in a habit of addiction. And this is why, it's such a personal journey, because it is a journey of transformation, and of each soul really choosing to love themselves enough to create that deeper connection, that more authentic, deeper connection of source, of intimacy, right? Let me know if that is resonating for you, or if you have any other thoughts. I'd love to hear from you too. Yeah, so the deeper root. So what's the gift? Well, the gift is the flip side of that always. The lesson, the gift of addiction is creating more generative, more life-affirming, more, deeper connections. And we can't have deeper connections with each other if we don't have deeper connections with ourselves first, and with the earth, right? Super, super important to get this right, yeah? So if we don't have that, if we're not connected to our source, our creator source, that flow of life force, that energy, that creativity, that creative source, then we seek it outside of ourselves. It can be, anything. We're talking addiction, sex, food, love, relationships, money, power, business, work, anything that is going to distract ourselves from the present moment and our connection with ourselves. Hey, Joanna, right? Does that resonate for you? Yeah, feel free to write comments too. I'd love to hear from you. So if we, it's just a form of distracting in many ways from the truth, and from receiving the truth, and that real, deeper nourishment of connection. And a lot of that is modeled behavior, right? That's why it gets passed down. So in order to break the cycle, we have to go deeper. We have to go to the root. We have to go and heal our inner traumas and find more generative sources of staying connected to ourselves and the world, and to each other. Yeah? Any questions or any thoughts about that? I'd love for you to feel free to share. So again, what the root is, it's a feeling of guilt, inadequacy, self-rejection, and ultimately it's about self-worth, right? And really developing healthier, I hate to use the word healthy because it can be very subjective depending, there's not one standard of healthy for everyone, right? Because everyone's in different parts of their development, of evolution, their journey of consciousness. So it really is what is most aligned for you right now, that's going to serve you the most in your highest expression. So what do you need to know for yourself? I think this is really important. Hi, Charlene. I think it's really important to have a lot of compassion when looking at all of these patterns, and know that your salvation is through doing the deeper soul work around them. So it's it's having compassion to identify the root and the soul lesson, so you can break the cycle. So when we know better, we do better, right? So if you know that the key of breaking free, because ultimately addiction, whatever it is disempowering. And you can also leverage, there's different ways of evolving out of addiction. It's not all bad. You can refocus and, be addicted to something that's even healthier for you in that moment. That's maybe one step up on the vibrational scale. So that's an example too of how to evolve beyond it. But getting to the root, the soul root of addiction, is finding and creating and maintaining and cultivating a deeper connection with our source, with our own selves, and then also in our personal relationships. And it requires a level of intimacy and truth to break that cycle. Yeah, that's truly the gift. That truly is the gift. It's that deeper love, that deeper intimacy that everybody so is craving and so wants. Can I get a hell yeah? My screen left on the other screen. So that's what I had to talk about today. I want to talk about if you are struggling with someone in your family or a really close personal, sorry, I keep getting all these messages. Thank you. Hey, Tim. So good to see you on here. If you are struggling, like if you have someone who's in your life, I mean, I think we can all relate to addiction. It's something so personal and human. Hey, Christina. That we all have a story about, right? And if you know someone who's struggling with addiction, the best thing that you can do to set them free is do your own work. I just had this conversation with someone dear to me recently. It's like, set them free, have compassion, because they're doing what they know best to do to handle their own trauma. They don't have the skills or the inner work or the self-love or the compassion or the acceptance to or the knowing to be able to do that at the moment. And the best thing that you can do is love them, have compassion, have firm boundaries, and do your own personal work, whatever it's triggering in you. That actually, because when you change, they change, right? And they are inspired to change. But I think it's important to remember that it's their own journey. And I really love Melanie Tonya Evans has a great video on this when she's talking about co-parenting. So if you Google her and co-parenting, she talks about her own personal journey with her son's addiction, and it's really, really powerful. And the key is to heal your own inner work and see them as whole and complete. See them as whole, see them as involved, see them and hold them in that level of consciousness so they can rise to meet you. I think that's important with our children as well. So any questions, or if you want to share this, like it, write some comments, share it with people that you know that are struggling with addiction. And if you want to do this deeper work, if you feel called to break the karmic cycle of addiction as well as other karmic patterns that I've been talking about this week, private message me, click the link above, sign up for a complimentary karmic assessment, and set yourself free, because only you can evolve your own legacy. Only you can set yourself free. I mean, that's why this work is so empowering. When we have the tools, the support, the guidance, and the perspective to evolve beyond the past. Sending you so much love. And if you want to join me on November 1st, that's this Thursday, for a private, super exclusive virtual immersion that I'm going to be doing. It's going to be a 2-hour immersion. Virtual. You can do it in the comfort of your own home on All Souls Day, All Saints Day, Samhain. We're going to be doing a family karmic release process where you can identify all of these patterns in your unique family line, set yourself and your family free so that you can take that next step in your life and you're not being blocked by all of these, by the past and by what's been sort of laid out for you in your past. Like, we are not limited to our genes anymore, and it's super exciting what we're discovering with the creative alchemy work and epigenetics. It really is working with a lot of people right now that are really supporting me and have the backup to in the science that is showing that this work is the cutting edge of vibrational medicine. It's super exciting. So if you want to join me, if you want to be in that group on Thursday, super potent time to be doing this work. We're going to use ceremony, creative art, transformative art, creative alchemy, and we are going to, it's super efficient, laser focused. We clear the stuff. You will feel a visceral release from any family karmic cycle or generational wound that has plagued you and has kept you from moving forward in your life. It's time to set yourself free. So message me or book a karmic session below. Sending you so much love. If you have any thoughts or questions, please let me know. Write comments, message me. I'm sending you love for a beautiful day.